Help me grow, fast or slow, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Help me learn, soft or stern, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Life's a movie, the ultimate trip. You should have been told you'd be digging for gold. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Digging for Gold. This is a special episode, not just about the guest we have, who is a very special person, but it's also, this is our 50th episode. That's a 5 and a 0 for all you math majors, and that's special, okay? And because of that, and because of all the other ones and the ones to come, I want you all to subscribe on YouTube at Dan.Goldberg, on Spotify, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. Just go to dangoldberg.com, go to the bottom, and click on all those little icons from social media, and subscribe and follow us. Now I'm going to tell you who we got, okay? You ever heard of SharkTank? It's not something you swim in. Well, it could be.
Could be.
You could do that. You're risking your life, but anyway, this is Maya Nazareth. She was on Shark Tank and actually got, 3 sharks to give her a hug and the whole bit and want to join her and so forth. That's a whole other story, right? She has an apparel company called Alchemize for combat sports for women, correct?
Correct.
Combat sports for women. Wow, that's pretty cool. So how'd you get into that? How did that come about?
Well, I started combat sports when I was 16. Totally changed my life.
Wow.
I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym not knowing what jiu-jitsu was. I thought it was like fitness kickboxing, and I'd be punching the air and making loud noises. And jiu-jitsu, for the uninitiated, is what happens when the fight goes to the ground. And it uses grappling and leverage for smaller people to be able to submit much larger, stronger opponents. And I fell in love with it. It's so fun. It's like chess with your body. And it changed how I saw myself. It changed how I moved through the world. It made me feel much more confident. But the gear I was wearing to training didn't make me feel confident because it exposed me on the mat. So
Right, that's not cool.
No, not cool. So my stomach was coming out. My shirt was coming down. It was a mess. And it was really just because no one had thoughtfully designed gear for the female athlete and the unique needs of female athletes in that sport.
Were you only fighting females?
No. It's a co-ed sport. You fight males as well.
So you really don't want to become totally naked while you're doing it.
Oh,
with all your clothes falling all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes you're one of just a couple women in a class of 30 plus men. Being exposed like that is a huge barrier for women to even wanting to stay in the sport.
Yeah, I get it. My youngest grandson and my granddaughter take jiu-jitsu.
Oh, no way!
Yeah. He's 10, she's 6.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have older ones too, that they're married, getting married and things like that. And
You have grandchildren old enough to be getting married?
I have a great grandson.
Oh, that's unreal.
Yes, as I always tell people, I'm very old, but I did fight for the North during the Civil War. So you'll know that. Okay. It was fun. I still have the hat. It's blue.
Oh.
So yeah, it's cool. So you were a youngster getting in there. 16 years old.
Yeah.
So what was it that said, hey, wait a minute, man, I cannot have my parts exposed while I'm fighting, and I got to come up with an idea to change that for me and all the other women that are fighting.
One, I think it's just a horrifying experience.
Right.
And it's something that every single woman who is on the mat is experiencing. There's no one who is training who's not having that happen just because of the nature of the sport.
Right.
And if that was happening in any other domain, people would be doing something about it.
Of course.
2, I think I'm just that kind of person. Like, if I see a problem, I'm going to figure out how to solve it. And
That's great.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I thought
cool.
maybe I can make this better.
And you did.
And I did.
How did that happen? What'd you do? I mean, did you draw it out? Did you work with designers?
Well, the first rash guard that I made, so I started with a rash guard. We eventually developed...
Oh, wait a minute. What is a rash guard?
A rash guard is...
So you don't get rashes from fighting?
Yeah. Because because on the mat you can get skin diseases, you can get staph infections, you can get ringworm, and a rash guard
Ooh.
kind of covers you and is a tight-fitting garment that prevents that from happening. Obviously, it's not working when your rash guard is coming up and your whole stomach is exposed.
No, that wouldn't work.
So it's not very effective for women a lot of the time. And so we ended up developing a whole product line of different products eventually, but we started with the rash guard because the rash guards I was wearing were just really ill-fitting. They were boxy, and so naturally they would just come up. So I made a rash guard that was made out of a different material, that was more flattering, that fit you through the waist and was a few inches longer so that it would actually stay down during training. You could tuck it into your pants. Many of our rash guards ended up having a silicone waistband as well.
That's pretty cool.
To stay down while you were training. And I didn't start with working with designers. I mean, I ordered a rash guard sample from a manufacturer I found on Alibaba, and I literally drew with Sharpie on the rash guard. Oh, I want it to go in here. I want it to go in here. I want 1 inch. I would draw lines with a Sharpie on my body. I want it 1 inch longer here.
Wow, that's cool.
And that's how I did it in the early days. That's not how I do it now.
So then you sent it out to a company
Yeah.
to make it?
Mm-hmm.
And you specify what kind of material?
Yeah,
It's amazing. And you were how old?
19.
Oh my God, I was 19 once. I can't. It's amazing. It's great. And then people started to what? Go, Maya, I love your suit. I love your rash guard. Is that what happened?
I think I thought if I build it, they will come. And I didn't realize, you need to build an audience. And you need to build it's not just building a website, it's building the community behind the business that drives demand to the business. And so I had this product, and I would drive to different gyms and open mats, and people would see it, and I would sell them. But it probably was a year and a half before I really got moving with our online sales. And we're a completely online brand. And so we would have a month where we had 1 sale and a month where we'd have 0 sales and a month where we would have 2 sales and then 0 sales again for a year and a half. And then we started to get a little bit of traction.
Yeah, it takes time for anything, really.
Yeah.
My business, same thing. Well, it didn't take that long because we got a lot of PR.
Oh, that's awesome.
At the very beginning, we opened in November, and we got a Philadelphia Bulletin, which was a newspaper in Philly, had a Sunday paper that was like weighed a ton. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the sections, the Metro section, if you had a story above the fold when people opened the newspaper,
Yeah.
it was above the fold and you saw it, then it got like almost instant reaction, and we quintupled our business overnight.
Oh, wow.
But it took 6 months to get to that point.
Yeah.
So it's all like grinding it out,
Yeah.
figuring it out, going around, putting flyers out, telling people. We didn't have social media in those days. We barely had telephones, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And things, no, I'm kidding. But,
I thought you were joking.
You had to crank it. But that's what it took. It took going around and telling people, come see us, okay? And that's what you had to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we started with building the audience, and I kind of took a step back because I spent my full $2,000, all the money I had, on my inventory, and so I couldn't really build a full product line. I mean, we had that one product for a year, and then we ended up having 3 products, and we had 3 products for a while, and it was like 2 rash guards and a T-shirt.
That was my lawyer's.
Yeah?
Yeah, 2 rash guards and a T-shirt. Can I help you?
Yeah, it was really kind of a crazy looking website.
That's but it's cool.
But that's how we started. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we grew primarily through social media, through posting memes. So I would talk about the rash guard. I would talk about, hey, I'm this young girl who's founding this business, and I would share the journey. I'd share different designs and different thoughts on the jiu-jitsu community, and I was just throwing things at the wall. But then we would post memes about, being a woman in jiu-jitsu and tapping because your hair is getting pulled, not because someone actually choked you, but your hair got stuck and it was really painful, and so you tapped. Or people, when you're a girl in jiu-jitsu, you end up having bruises all over your body, and every job I've ever had, people would take me to the side and be like, are you okay? Like, are you safe at home? And so we would make memes about those really relatable experiences for women in the sport.
That's very interesting. Yes, you don't think about that.
Yeah.
You know, they could say, do you have a blood problem, leukemia or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Or is somebody beating you in the house?
Yeah.
Right? And of course your answer is, nobody beats me anywhere.
Exactly.
I can take them all, right? But
something like that.
Yeah. but you don't think about that. And
Yeah.
and you have to explain yourself.
Yeah, and I think making that customer feel seen and feel understood, and like we were one of them, because I was, helped us ultimately build that trust as a brand that no one had heard of before, and then sell products eventually.
Yeah, they like to know that you are what you sell.
Yeah.
And did you speak anywhere? Did you, go to functions or clubs or things like that?
I mean, I would go to local gyms and open mats and just train on the mat.
Okay.
I think people liked seeing me on the mat with my gear, and I mean, I would walk up with a laundry basket of my rash guards and put them on a table, and that's kind of how I would sell. But there's no events where you can go and speak to a 200, 300, 500 women in jiu-jitsu that I could attend in those early days.
But now you do events.
Now we throw the events.
Yeah.
And that kind of came because people were like, if you're going to grow the brand, where do you need to go? And I was like, there is nowhere to go. And so we decided to create them, and it solved a problem, I guess a problem for me, in that there's a distribution channel there. But more than anything, there just wasn't a place for women to come together in the sport to train together. Some women are, in Ohio, and they're the only girl in their gym. And they've not ever met another high-level jiu-jitsu girl who is their size, who they can train with. And so it really is revolutionary to bring 300 women together on the mat to learn from the best, highest-level women in the sport. And also we've created a ton of value for the high-level women in the sport, too, because now they can get paid for their knowledge, which those opportunities didn't exist before. They really only existed for men.
Is jiu-jitsu now an Olympic sport, women's jiu-jitsu?
No, but wrestling and judo are.
For women?
Yeah, and we just, at our past camp this past weekend, had Olympic winner. She's the first American Olympic silver medalist, Sarah McMahon, teach at our event for wrestling. And so, wrestling is in the grappling world. It's actually the fastest growing high school or college sport for girls in the U.S. today.
That's great.
And so we really touch jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, and MMA with the business.
Wow. So you do boxing too, huh?
Yeah.
That is cool. That's great. In the last episode, or the episode before the last one, I talked about my family were boxers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my first cousin once removed was featherweight and champion and featherweight and junior lightweight champion of the world.
Oh, wow.
His name was Benny Bass. They called him the Little Fish. His brother was also a boxer. My father used to teach me boxing and stuff.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So we grew up, my brother and I, around people who boxed.
Yeah.
It was a whole era of people in Philly who were boxers.
I think it's coming back, too.
I think so. I think that Dana White is doing something with it, with boxing, or is it wrestling?
Dana
One
White
of those.
just launched a UFC BJJ jiu-jitsu
Really?
whole separate side business, side promotion.
He's going to run it all, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for him. I mean, there'll be it's like boxing. Boxing has 4 or 5 different championships, different organizations, and it's okay. It's America. You can do that, but I think jiu-jitsu is in its embryonic stages for women.
For women, yeah.
Yeah, and it has to get exposure in the best way. One is what you're doing, that you're just coming back from, is women being with other women in a retreat, basically, okay? And then they go home and they teach it to their daughters and their sons, okay? And then it becomes natural.
Yeah.
Right? They're sometimes it's like, wait, she's a woman and she does jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, but I will
now it's normal almost. Yeah.
I will say to your point about your granddaughter taking jujitsu, you go in the younger, like the kids' classes, it's more girls than boys.
Yeah.
Because dads who are training jujitsu are concerned about their girls knowing how to defend themselves.
True.
And being strong and being able to. And jujitsu lends itself to that because it uses leverage, so you can control and submit someone who is stronger, bigger, and faster or more athletic than you.
I think it is needed.
Yeah.
It's definitely needed for young girls and women to learn it. And it's almost like, and I could be wrong, so you can correct me, it's almost like an outgrowth of something that already exists, which is yoga. Yoga is all about exercise, moving your body, doing those types of things, but it's not grappling, it's not wrestling. You're doing it by yourself. But I think that once you get into those movements, it could be a natural progression to say, okay, now that you understand that, let's face off against somebody else and let me teach you how to use your body to protect yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think fighting is something that's just so innately human. Fighting and dancing and running are just human, and throwing things are human activities that most people do at some point in their life naturally. And I think everyone should have instruction around it. But I think when you grow up as a little boy, there's a space for that. You wrestle with your friends or with your dad, or there's like a space for roughhousing, and girls are really discouraged away from that.
They are. That's true.
But girls are also aggressive and industrious and have that human thing. And so I think adult women or young women who are getting into jiu-jitsu gives them a healthy outlet to express that. And I think for that reason, fighters in general, but in particular I focus on women who fight, are much more peaceful people because they have an outlet for all of that.
There's no doubt about it. And I know that, to use the term that people use, my granddaughter's a girly girl.
Yeah.
Right? She's girly, frills and all that other stuff. But she's also like learning jiu-jitsu and learning all these things. And it's all good. It's like, I agree with it. I mean, as a grandfather, okay? You want your granddaughters and grandsons to be protected.
Yeah.
And know how to protect themselves. So now you have this company, but you're also speaking, and you do a newsletter, I believe, if I'm correct. You've done TED Talks, and you're a consultant to help people build their businesses. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I read. I'm a professor. I do research. Hello. And so how do they find clients? Do people come up to you and say, Maya, you started this thing? I'm trying to start a business myself.
So the consulting thing is a little bit more recent in that I've been mentoring startup founders for a while, for several years, at the University of Delaware, at Drexel, at different universities in the area, and just people who come up to me and ask me for help. I like to pay it forward. A lot of people helped me when I was getting started and just gave me free advice, so I do that. But plenty of people come up and ask for real help on, I want help around my business model. I want you to look at my financials. I want help figuring out how do I get clients or build systems in my business, or an introduction to a manufacturer. And so my consulting is just a way for me to facilitate that. And I think I'm pretty good, and I really like building systems for people.
That's good.
That's how my brain works. I like to solve problems, and so it's an outlet for me to do that.
So you have clients then in your business?
I do.
Yeah, and it's funny because after I sold my business, people would ask me how I started my business.
Yeah.
What was it? How did I come up with the idea? What did I structure? And I would help all these people out, and then I realized there's a business in this business.
Yeah.
And I should be charging for this because most people charge for this. And that's when I started my consulting firm. After my friend Linda said I looked like crap, walking down the street because I sold my business and I wasn't doing anything else. She said, start another one, and that's how I started that. But anyway, I've said that before in the podcast. But yeah, people want your brain.
Yeah.
They want your brain, right? And if you keep giving it away, eventually you're going to have to buy bread, and you go, wait, I just gave all my stuff away. I don't know. Will you take my thoughts? No, we don't take thoughts to buy bread. Right? So you gotta charge because you went through all this stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, the experience building something from zero is
right.
You learn a lot of lessons. And
actually, you're building it from less than zero because you had to come up with those $2,000.
True.
So you're already in debt, right?
True.
You're spending money but you did it.
But I did it.
And if I am correct, which I think I am in this one, when I watch videos of you getting the offers on Shark Tank, and there were people like all jumping up and down in the living room or something, they were watching it. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah. It was probably, I threw a party, and it was at the party, the watch party.
So you didn't tell anybody what happened, right?
My family knew, but no one else knew.
No one else. So you just said, come on over, we'll all watch it. Well, what happened? What happened? Did you get it? I'm not going to tell you. You got to watch it, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. And they were jumping up and down, and they were all excited.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I walked into that experience just wanting to do my best and represent the business the best way I could.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a cool opportunity. I've watched that show since I was a child. And I didn't apply to get on the show. They reached out to me. And so,
really?
Yeah. And so I was like, wow, what an amazing opportunity. And there's a vulnerability going on that show. You have to tell them your numbers. You have to put yourself out there. It could go bad. It gets aired anyway. Right. And so, but I thought, okay, if I don't do this, my competitor's going to do this.
Exactly.
And
you have a competitor?
I do have a competitor.
Uh-oh.
And I have two, and like kind of more direct competitors. And I was like, if I don't do this, my competitor's going to do this, and I want to be the one that does this.
Sure.
And so I just went in there trying not to forget my pitch and hoping I represented the business well. I didn't even think about a deal. I thought, oh, maybe we'll get a deal with one shark, but we were the third company in history to ever get a deal with 3 sharks. Wow. And so that was pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy, is right.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you went on, you went out there and you start talking, first of all, you rehearse things, right?
Yeah.
Did that. And I know that's great exposure whether you get a deal or not, right? Mm-hmm. So as soon as you were on, right after that, people must have contacted you or gone to your website or bought things.
Yes.
It increased sales.
Yes.
Right? So that alone is worth it. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people think that just get me on Shark Tank, I don't care if I get a deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's kind of the mentality I went in with it. I was like, because the deals on Shark Tank, I cut my valuation in half. I had raised a little bit of money before. I cut my valuation in half for that Shark Tank deal. And I think I was not super excited about doing that, but I was like, let me just go out there and tell people about what we're working on, because I think it's cool. But we got a deal that was hard to refuse. So
yes, I watched that. Yeah, I watched that, and when I told some of my colleagues that you were coming on the show, now this may have a bigger reaction than Shark Tank, our show, Digging for Gold, because we're worldwide,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and my colleagues, one of my colleagues in particular, went, I remember when she was on.
Oh,
She's
really?
like a Spitfire. She's great. Yeah. Yes. And I'll tell you the rest later off camera, because he was so excited. I want you to meet him too when we get after the show. Okay. But yes, a lot of people knew who you were because they watch Shark Tank. I watch Shark Tank all the time. I like it. And there's one station, what is it, CNBC or something? Mm-hmm. That's like Shark Tank's always on. They have ones from like
they always air
2024. rerun them. And one of the things I do when I watch it, because I teach that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
is I go back and I check to see if the deal was good,
Yeah.
or if they're still in business.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are not in business, some of them are in business.
Yeah.
And you must still get questions about that constantly. Am I right? People remember.
I mean, people ask me about Shark Tank, sure. I think every time there's a rerun, we get more people viewing it. We're still currently in season 17. I think it just ended, so that was the season that I was in. But we've already had 1 or 2 reruns. We'll have that forever. So people
Right.
will continue to come to the site, and that is...
And they buy.
And they buy. And so that's great. And that's additional awareness every time we air,
Yes.
which is amazing.
It is.
But in terms of questions, I don't know if I get a lot of questions about it. It's funny, though. I have heard that story of, you know, a friend will walk into some place and say, oh, I do jiu-jitsu. And someone will be like, oh, I saw this jiu-jitsu girl on Shark Tank. And they'll be like, that's my friend. And so Shark Tank does reach a lot more people
It
in a
sure
really
does.
different audience than
It
anything
sure
I've
does.
ever done before.
Yeah, and I used to use it in my courses.
Yeah.
Let's watch Shark Tank, and then I'd say, what do you think? What do you think of this valuation?
Yeah.
I'd shut it off, you know, I'd pause it. What do you think of the evaluation? And tell me why, okay? And then as it progresses, would you give a deal, or would you give an offer?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think the offer should be? And we would play it that way and use it as an educational tool.
Yeah.
And students would come up with some pretty cool thoughts about it,
Yeah.
pretty good ideas. And when you actually have been on, let me see, Lori Grenier was one of the 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other 2 were not, it wasn't Mark Cuban, and it wasn't Robert Herjavec, or Mr. Wonderful.
They were guests.
They were guests, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The one was a woman, and the other one was a guy, I forget. What is his name?
Yeah, Kendra Scott and Alexis Ohanian.
Okay. Yes. Tell him I said hi when you speak to him.
Okay.
They go, Dan Goldberg, of course. I remember him. 4 Eyes when I was in Philly. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. That's great. Now, okay, so that's there, okay? And you got the business. You're still running the business,
Mhm.
right? And you don't make anything for men, right?
No.
That never crossed your mind?
For sure. And that's
But you
most
don't wanna
people's
leave.
first thing that they say to us. But the dream has always been to create a movement that speaks to the fighter and every woman.
No,
And I
that's
think
right.
our brand positioning as like being a women's only brand is really strong.
That's a good idea.
And allows us to do something that most brands in fight sports are not able to do, which is transcend the fight sports space.
Right.
And become a bigger women's athletic wear brand
Mm-hmm.
that's not just about fight sports, but about women conquering adversity and stepping into a stronger, more powerful version of themselves.
I think that's great. So you don't have to be a combat woman or
No.
a combat fighting woman. You just buy the brand.
Yeah, you could buy the brand, and we have some off-mat offerings, and so
Off mat?
yeah,
Surgical?
so just like athleisure, sweatshirts and sweatpants and hats and things like that
Really?
for someone else to wear who
Yeah.
just thinks the brand is cool.
It is cool. It is cool. I looked at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm going to tell you something that is very important to me, and I hopefully just ordered some, but I hope they're long enough. T-shirts aren't long enough.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like you bend over and it's like, I can see like it's exposing some skin,
Oh.
right? So I'm in Istanbul, Turkey, and I see this T-shirt,
The one you're wearing.
the one I'm wearing.
Okay.
The pants are from Istanbul. The shoes are from Istanbul. The hat is from Temple. So, and I put it on. I went, this is a long T-shirt. This is a long, look, it's a long T-shirt, right?
Okay.
And they should have more T-shirts that are long.
I agree. Usually I'm a large, tall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need, this is Alex. Now you
Yeah.
know Alex's size. It's like, they're just too short.
Okay.
So I went on to True Classics. You ever go to True Classics?
No, but I know there are some options. Like, doesn't like Duluth Trading Co. or like, you know, the term is plumber's crack. So like sometimes there's like extra long tail. Or my dad's 6'4", so my mom's always trying to look for like.
Yeah.
Some of the preppy brands have tall too, like Land's End or like whatever.
Yeah,
You know?
but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be 6'4",
Mhm.
hurricane. Shrunk me down. You remember that? But I was much taller. But anyway, so I found this, and I went, this is the perfect thing, because sometimes, even if you're watching me, if I'm wearing a short T-shirt and I'm sitting, and there's almost a space where you can see skin, if I
Yeah.
can say skin on international TV. But on MeTube, some people call it YouTube, but it's me, so it's MeTube. Right?
Oh, okay.
It's MeTube for YouTube. That's a song that I'm going to write. But anyway, when you think about it, think about the length of things so that women, if they lean over, aren't exposing their skin.
Yeah. Well, our rash guards are extra long for that reason. I know, right?
Yeah. I need to get a rash guard.
I mean, I think you need to start a T-shirt brand.
You never know. I was just on the phone about that yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. There will be, coming up, folks, there will be Digging for Gold merchandise.
That's cool.
It is cool. And I'm excited about it, but it'll be coming up soon.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's black and gold. You know, the usual stuff, gold and black,
Yeah.
things like that. Our background, as you see, is black and gold. So,
That's awesome.
do you ever when you design stuff, okay? When you come up with ideas, I always wanted to ask this of a designer.
Okay.
Okay, how do you view it? Like, what in your mind? Like, do you go, okay, this woman has a little more girth. This woman has a little more height. This woman is really thin. How do you design things like that?
So we're a function first brand. So
What's that mean?
I mean, for example, we developed a women's wrestling singlet that can be worn in jiu-jitsu. It
A
can
women's
be
wrestling
singlet,
singlet, which
Yeah.
is a what?
like a one piece.
Oh, okay. It's singlet.
Yeah, that girls are wearing for wrestling.
Are they the white things that you wear?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're just like a one piece with shorts.
Oh, okay.
And so at the high school and college level, girls are wearing 6 garments just to be covered. Because the singlet is a sublimated material, which means it's printed on in a big printer, industrial printer basically. And so when it stretches white or see-through. So girls are wearing a sports bra underneath. They're wearing an underwear or an undershort, sometimes an overshort because it's see-through. Which is just uncomfortable. Then they're wearing the singlet, and then because of dress codes and just depending on the size of women's chests, they're wearing a rash guard or a T-shirt underneath the singlet to compete. And so they have all of these layers. It's mismatched. It's not comfortable. And I just imagine being a girl who's in high school or college and you're not super secure, you're not going to feel good when you're about to step on the mat and compete. So what we did...
It's like bizarre.
It's just no one had thought about that customer. They just took a men's singlet, which is down to your belly button basically, and they brought it up and they were like, that's good. And it's not good. And so what we've done is we just thought from first principles. Okay, we need a singlet that's not see-through. Let's use a nylon material that is, one, more stretchy so we can fit more body types, because polyester, which is the fabric you need to print on, can only really tolerate 18% stretch. Nylon can tolerate almost 30% stretch, so we can fit different body types better. Then let's add an additional layer on the front, back, and gusset, so it's never going to be see-through. So if you get your period, if you just are in some kind of wrestling position where you're very exposed, you don't need to worry about it. And that's huge for women, especially for an athlete who's competing, who doesn't need to be worried about what they look like. Then we added an internal sports bra, takes out the need for you to wear anything additional on top. We brought the neckline way up so that you can have coverage. And the reason that they don't have full coverage necklines is because women's hips are really wide.
Right.
So we just changed the back from a racer back to a cross back, and that allows it to get over your hips and cover your chest. And so thinking from first principles, working with our customers, understanding the problems really has always been my approach to design. I cared way, way less. I love fit and I love like functionality and I love materials. I wanted the product to really feel good and make women feel confident. I care less about the design style. I have an ethos on that too and a way I think about it as well. But we always really just worked from customer-centered design to design our products.
That's great. That's great. Somebody didn't think about, wait a minute, you can see through this garment?
I mean, women in general are so underthought of as a consumer base.
It's weird.
I mean,
it's funny with surf lessons. Like, one of the delicate, difficult parts is like before the lesson, you can borrow one of our wetsuits.
Yeah.
So you have to like, I'm qualified to work in like a children's section in Macy's or something because you have to like try to guess, is this person a 6 or the person an 8?
Yeah.
You might have to help them try it on a couple times. Or like when the water gets warm, sometimes they forego it.
Yeah.
But we also have like rash guards with logos. So
Yeah.
sometimes you wish they thought about the lesson a little bit more, and like sometimes I wish they wore like more clothing as opposed to being like, no, I don't need it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So you always like bring it to the beach, and maybe once they take that first ride on a wave and spill or whatever,
Yeah.
and their outfit isn't holding up, they might put the rash guard or put the wetsuit back on. But it just, I don't know, if you haven't done the sport or whatever, you don't know what it entails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about fight sports is you're in close contact to people. And so,
True.
like, someone is on top of you or you're on top of someone else. And so having a clothing mishap in a close contact sport where you're training with a man is a huge issue.
Yeah.
It can be a safety issue. It can be just a comfort issue. And having an issue like that in your first couple of weeks or months when you're training is a great reason that women never come back.
Yeah, it gets embarrassing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be embarrassed.
Of course.
So it's unbelievable to me that no one thought of that. I know why, because they were waiting for you
They were waiting for me.
to come up with it. But it's like, what?
But even women
Yeah.
are just not thought about as a consumer base. Like, most drugs are not tried on women.
What?
Most drugs are
Drugs?
not
Really?
tried on women in FDA trials because of our menstrual cycles. So
Oh.
it's a variable they don't want to deal with, but then they find out once it goes to the population that those drugs are not effective for women. Even toothpaste, women get way more cavities than men. It's because the acidity of our mouths is different.
Right?
And there's a doctor that developed TheraBreath, I think is the toothpaste
Oh, yeah,
brand.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's also a mouthwash.
yeah, he developed it for his daughter. He's a
Really?
dentist who developed it for his daughter because he was like, I know that there's this difference and no one has developed a toothpaste or any products for women.
I think his name is Harold Katz, I think his name.
Oh,
I could
really?
be wrong. Yeah, because I knew a Harold Katz growing up, but it's not the same guy. But I think it is. I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I think TheraBreath is that.
So across the board, I think women are just not considered as a consumer base, even though we make most of the consumer decisions in the home.
Yes.
Or
and-
crash test dummies in automotive testing. I think
Exactly.
they just came out with women-shaped bodies.
Within like
Really?
the last
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's weird.
Mhm.
And yet, the majority of the population is women. I think it's like 50.1% or 51% are women.
Yeah.
So, what's that? That's bad marketing decisions, bad research decisions, bad business decisions.
Yeah.
It's if you look at the demographics in the United States, in the world, I would tend to think in the world there's more women than men, because men have a tendency to go to war, okay, things like that, and it's unbelievable.
But I think as capital and purchasing power changes, I mean, we're seeing that in the United States right now, that will shift. I mean,
Yes.
I think that is shifting, and you're seeing the emergence of a lot of women-centered products.
I hope so. I know that jewelry is more women-centered. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
right? There are certain things that are women-centered.
Beauty, for example.
Beauty products. Now they're coming out with beauty products for men.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Like under-eye baggage for I said, I don't know. It took me years to get these under eyes bags. Why don't I get rid of them, right? And these hair products. Okay, it's all right, but I'm not doing that, right?
Yeah.
I got to this point, but men are vain, everybody's vain to some degree. And even weather vane is another, it's a product. I'm going to come up with a product called Weather Vane.
Yeah.
What do you think? You like that? It tells us where the wind is. But it's stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
That play on vanity.
Yeah.
Jewelry is vanity. Cosmetics are vanity. All those things are vanity. You play on that. Your first thing is to make people insecure, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I agree.
And then your next thing is to sell them products to make them feel secure.
Yeah. I mean, I think with women, the reason that there's so many products associated with it is because women's survival until the last 50 years has been focused on desire, right? And
Right.
someone choosing you and supporting you.
Correct.
And now that dynamic is shifting, I think, one, men are starting to care more about vanity and desire
Right.
in a different way. And hopefully it's never linked to anyone's survival ever again. But also, as women have more purchasing power, they're making decisions that are not just about survival. It's about identity.
Yeah, and it is. And it's also identity of the home. I think women, I know for me and my wife, I mean, she's really good at decor, things like that. Most guys, and I could be completely wrong about this, just give me a couch, a television that gets the Phillies games on, or the Sixers, or the Flyers, or the Eagles, right? And something to eat and water, and I'm good, right? And my wife can relax and do all those things, but she'll come up with thoughts and ideas, and I'll go, that's really nice looking. That's really great.
Yeah.
You did a great job with that. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And they make most of the home decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the biggest consumer of all these things, but yet things aren't tested on them. I guess they are for products, home products. I guess I would think so. Maybe not. I didn't know about toothpaste.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah, toothpaste and cars and drugs and clothing. It's
Wow.
interesting.
Even though cars would, in the older days, I don't know about now, there'd always be an attractive woman opening the door of the car, sitting in the car,
Yeah.
because as we all know, sex sells,
Mhm.
right? So if you make something sexy, people go, oh, you mean I can go out with her if I get that car?
Yeah.
I mean, it's screwed up way of thinking, but it is, that's what they're shooting for.
Yeah.
And it's the same way, if I drink that beer, I could meet him for a woman, without the deeper thought that you have been through, that you went through. You say, well, this just doesn't work. This doesn't work. You can't have clothing that you can see through for a woman who's a fighter. You can't have 19 different things she has to put on, plus shoulder pads and a helmet, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like that, right? And expect her to be lucid in her movements,
Yeah.
right? Because that's got to hold up the way you move.
Yeah.
You got to make it comfortable enough so that she could grab someone, flip them, do all these other things. But if you're worried about, your clothes don't move like your movement does,
Yeah.
it's a problem.
Exactly. 100%.
So what was the aha moment that you could really do this?
I don't know if I had one.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if I had one. I mean, my dream when it started was I want to make a few rash guards and I want to make $2,000 a month. And I was like, I can support myself on $2,000 a month. That's where my brain was at 19. And
well, wait a minute. And you're 20, that was 8 years ago, maybe.
yeah, and I was living in an RV with my boyfriend at the time and
Really?
training jujitsu 24/7. Like I was That's all I cared about. And I think never in a million years did I think we would be on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list or on Shark Tank or speaking at TEDx or any of those things. I didn't really have those dreams for myself. I always had the dream of bringing women together and helping facilitate events for women. I always wanted to do that for some reason, and I just had an opportunity to do that with jiu-jitsu. But I think as an entrepreneur, you navigate challenges all the time, and you navigate moments all the time of, can I really do this? Can I really get this to the next level? And I think what I don't necessarily have a belief that, oh, I can really do this, but I have a belief that I can learn anything. And I have a belief that, oh, I'm someone, when roadblocks get put my way, I'll find the way around it, you know, even if it's in a different direction. I don't really take no for an answer in many things. And so I don't necessarily need the belief that, oh, this is going to work out. I just have the belief in myself now.
It's the challenge.
Yeah.
It is the challenge. And as I've said many times on this show, being an entrepreneur is a disease. It is a dis-ease. You are in a constant state of dis-ease.
Yeah.
You are not at ease.
Yeah.
Because there's some other challenge out there that you want to tackle, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I got this done. I got this, the restaurant, it's selling. Okay, what else can I do?
Yeah,
Right?
either there's like a fire outside or there's a fire inside. There's like something wrong in the business, or it's like, I should be there. And yeah, I agree that it's kind of a disease. But
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. And it's not, you know, I always say you're in a state of dis-ease.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and it is fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's cool that you figured this out, that you figured it out for women who were in your predicament and nobody thought of anything to change it, and you did.
Yeah, and I got to serve a community that I really care about.
Yeah.
And I believe that jiu-jitsu changes women's lives. It changes how they see themselves.
Right.
And because of our products and because of our events in the community, they stay in jiu-jitsu longer. And it's more welcoming for the next generation of women who want to get into the sport.
Well, it's, as we were saying earlier, there's yoga,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And yoga has become vastly more popular than it was when I was young.
Yeah.
Okay. Yoga when I was young was just called yo. If you lived in Philly, everybody went yo. But now it's yoga, right?
Yeah.
So it's like people, it's normal now. You see yoga studios all the time. But jiu-jitsu is almost, and I know this is weird to say it, we said it earlier, it's like an outgrowth of that. You're moving your body.
Yeah.
It's mostly women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are
It's not
some
mostly
men.
women. It's mostly men.
In yoga?
In jiu-jitsu.
Oh, no, I was
Oh,
talking
okay.
about yoga.
In yoga.
Okay. But jiu-jitsu is mostly men.
Yeah.
However, once women know about the movements in jiu-jitsu, then, as you're doing, it will impact women quicker.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, wait, I can do that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Well, let me get a jiu-jitsu studio.
Yeah.
Why not?
And 20 years ago, there were no women in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no, up until 2012, there was no women allowed in the UFC. Dana White didn't believe that women should ever fight MMA on a main stage. And so there were no opportunities for women to fight, even though the UFC has been around since the 80s. And so that change is kind of creating a precipitous change of women getting involved in these sports.
What was that change?
Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is the first MMA fighter, female MMA fighter, to ever walk into the octagon. And then once that became more normalized, you started seeing the normalization of female athletes in all of the core sports that make up MMA: boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and of course MMA academies.
Well, how did you convince Dana White to go into the octagon?
I'm not sure. I mean, she was such a superstar personality. I don't think there's been a female fighter like her since.
Mhm.
But I think once MMA is an interesting sport because if you look at the main stage of women's basketball, for example, versus men's basketball, there's such a massive pay disparity. There's such a massive disparity between who wants to watch women's basketball and men's basketball. In the UFC or any fight sports, that's not the case. Women's fight sports are getting as much attention as men's fight sports.
Really?
Yes. And they're getting paid very, very similarly for those sports. And so that's a really interesting thing about the fight space that doesn't exist in any other sport that I can think of.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's exciting to see women that are beating each other up. I think it's exciting for people to see people fighting each other, but there's this added intrigue with women because that aggression is not seen.
Yeah. So as we were talking earlier, it's almost natural for people to fight.
Yeah.
Right? To throw things, to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to see women, they used to have it like mud wrestling, right? Women's mud wrestling. And that was sort of a almost like a sexy thing.
Yeah,
right?
it was sexualized.
It was titillating type of thing. But now it's like the brutality of the sport is real.
Yeah, and I think even more than the brutality, there's so much technique in fight sports.
Right.
And people are really interested in like the level of technique that's being exhibited by both men and women. And I think in jiu-jitsu specifically, men and women are neck and neck in terms of what they can do, because strength and power and size is not as big of a factor in jiu-jitsu. Men and women are on a much more equal playing field. Like I could choke and put to sleep a guy who's 220 pounds. If that person punched me in the face or we're striking, I have no chance. I'm like 140 pounds. And like if I try and punch that guy in the face, like he's going to kill me. So, but in jiu-jitsu, there's a much more equal playing field.
Right.
And so I think that creates a level of, oh, we can see the technical excellence of women in these sports as well, which is interesting.
You can bring down a larger man.
Yeah,
basically.
someone who's larger, stronger, more athletic.
And that reminds me of Tai Chi.
Yeah?
I don't know if a Tai Chi master can bring down a big guy.
Really?
Yeah, and a Tai Chi master could be, I don't know, 5'4" and weigh 140 pounds, 30 pounds. And it's a very interesting sport. I used to do it years and years ago.
Yeah.
But I can understand why the popularity is the way it is for female and male athletes, because it's basically watching the same moves.
Yeah.
That's it. Just disregard the sex of the person. It's watching the same moves.
Yeah, I mean, even in boxing, there was the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight that was on Netflix, and the best fight of the night and the most popular fight that was watched was the women's fight. And people, I mean, that Netflix airing had hundreds of millions of views, and the most talked about fight of the night was the women's fight.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I think that the difference with basketball is that a 7'4" person is normally going to be a man. You know, and so the size differential plays a little bit into that. Okay. There's one sport that I like to watch, which is women's softball.
Oh, really?
Because the pitchers specifically, are so good and can throw so quick, so fast.
Yeah.
Okay, that there have been women pitchers in softball who have struck out major league ball players.
Yeah.
So the differential is not as severe between men's and women's sports.
Yeah.
But I can see it now. It's closing. That gap is closing, and I have to watch for Tai Chi. They're, the professional Tai Chi fighters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Tai Chi. I think also to the credit of Dana White and a lot of these UFC promoters, there's not separate events. There's one event, which is the UFC card and there are women on the card.
Right.
There's not a women's only event. And so I think if you're going to watch NBA or WNBA, people are going to watch the NBA.
Correct.
Even though WNBA is having this major moment right now,
Right.
it's not, I mean, they don't make anything near what people in the NBA make. But UFC, it's one event. So you're going to watch the women's card as well.
Wow. From a guy who didn't want women in initially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, revenue has a major part in that.
Yeah, he's a businessman.
Sure he is. And that's what people don't understand about a lot of people
Yeah.
that make decisions. They're business people. What do you want from them?
Yeah.
That's their whole idea.
Yeah.
You know? The whole idea of business is to make money.
Yeah, they're following the money.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the impetus for it all. So as things go forward in Maya Nazareth's life as a combat fighter designer, okay, and all these other things, where do you see the future for these sports? Where do you see future for, let's get back to Tai Chi. Not Tai Chi.
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. I don't know why I said Tai Chi, but whatever. Okay? Of course, I was wearing a tie the other day, and I was drinking chai, so Tai Chi.
Mm.
That screwed me up. But at Jiu-jitsu, okay? Where do you see the future of Jiu-jitsu?
I mean, I think that we're temporarily seeing a lull because I think a lot of boutique fitness is going down right now with the economy. You're seeing these massive run clubs emerge. Run clubs and like free community events.
You mean like running?
Yeah, running,
Yeah.
yoga in the park.
Yeah.
I live in Philadelphia. Like the surgence of people just getting out and being together in community and doing physical activity that's low cost, low barrier to entry is huge. But I think long term, I see jiu-jitsu and fight sports just becoming a part of the normal zeitgeist. I think people are much more familiar with it than they were a few years ago. 50% of people under 30 are fans of the UFC.
I can believe that.
You can't say that about any other sport. And so it is the sport of millennials and Gen Z. I think that increasingly people are interested in living a healthy lifestyle for the rest of their life. And jiu-jitsu is one of those things that you can do into your 80s in different ways, but you could do it for a long time.
Really?
Learning how to do martial arts and continuing to get better and better. And jiu-jitsu is interestingly a sport that isn't just a physical sport, it's a mental sport. You're solving problems on the mat and doing chess with your body. And so I think it has the tendency to keep people in that sport for a very, very long time. But the trends that I'm seeing are little girls getting involved in combat sports, women increasingly getting involved in combat sports. I would love to see self-defense education, physical self-defense education become a mainstay in women's education and physical education in schools. I think that would be amazing, just to know some basic tools so you're not caught off guard. Ultimately, nothing is going to save you from certain dangerous situations, but it would be amazing to at least have tools, using your voice, being able to put a frame, being able to break a grip so you can get out of a situation or know the order of operations of how to address if someone is choking you or really going to hurt you. But yeah, I think women's sports in general is big business, and I think combat sports is following that trend.
You brought up a great point, by the way, and I hope our listeners and viewers take that to heart, especially the ones in academia. That why isn't this taught in high schools, in middle schools, in elementary schools, in universities?
Yeah.
Why isn't this taught? Why aren't combat sports taught? Because if a young girl and a young boy start to learn this stuff from kindergarten, okay, on up, it becomes natural. So self-defense becomes normal.
And ultimately, I think people who train combat sports are less aggressive people. I think people who know what can go wrong in a situation are more likely to de-escalate situations.
Correct.
Because they understand. I mean, I'm not someone who, I was laughing at your joke earlier about like thinking I can beat anyone up, but I am the least likely person to ever get in an altercation with anyone because I can see what goes wrong. Someone grabs you by the hair and smashes your head into the pavement and you're done, you know?
Right.
It doesn't matter how much training you have. Like, there are certain variables that you become aware of. And I think it would just really change how people move in society if they had that education from very young. Maybe you wouldn't yell at the person who cut you off in traffic, or like start yelling at someone in the grocery store, or you'd move with a little bit more respect for people if you understood what could go wrong, you know?
Well said, really. I mean, we live in an aggressive society.
Yeah.
There are some societies that are even more aggressive, but we live in an aggressive society, and we're quick to react. And one thing, I know we talked about Istanbul and places like that. One thing I noticed, and people can get aggressive anywhere, but the traffic, Istanbul's, I don't know, twice the size of New York. Okay?
Yeah.
So the traffic is extremely crazy. Okay. But people don't cut each other out most of the time when they're trying to get into the traffic lane, right? Like here, sometimes you'll let somebody in and sometimes you won't. I think it's, to your point, the person who lets people in knows that somewhere down the line they're going to be needed to be let in.
Yeah.
So it's that, ability to understand that. Like, if it's almost like paying it forward.
Yeah.
Right? If I let this person in, maybe somebody will let me in. It's that type of thing. And we need to get to that place. And as young ladies and young men learn that, they'll be less likely to, like you said, try to beat each other up over it.
Yeah.
Over stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It's wild. Alex, you know that. It's wild. So I think that what you're doing and the space you're in is a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
I think we need more people in that. We need to get more women to recognize it's okay to do these things. It is not unfeminine, right? It's not unfeminine. As a matter of fact, it's protecting your femininity.
Yeah.
Sort of, okay? If you want to say it that way. Or protecting yourself, if you don't want to use the adjective femininity. It's just protecting yourself, which means you'll be a happier person and a more confident person.
Yeah, I think also, I don't know, I think about the nature of little girls, and like, they're industrious. They're like, when you're like sub 10 years old, before you learn that you need to be polite and behave in a certain way, little girls and little kids are industrious, and they want to run, and they want to jump, and they want to use their bodies, and they want to fight. It's human. Yeah. And I think men are cut off from many things in their humanity, but women are cut off from that aggression, that anger, that harnessing of that industriousness. I think it's a positive thing for all of us to own the other parts of who we are.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Yeah.
And if you're out of balance because you're never allowed to do something or learn something, that's just as negative as being this way and not this way.
Yeah.
So there has to be a balance, and young ladies can do it dressed well through Alchemize.
Exactly.
They can have those rash guards, which now I know what they are. Okay. and now I'm going to get me a rash guard because Alex was talking about it. I didn't even know they had rash guards for surfing.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. And I had a rash about 3 years ago. If I would have only known, I could have not have it because I would have had a rash guard.
Maybe.
You never know.
Never know.
So what's next? Come on, tell me what's next. What's next for Maya?
I'm like project agnostic. I'm excited to be learning new things. I'm excited to continuing to do like more of my consulting stuff, working on different problems. I'm excited to do more speaking. Yeah, we'll see
it's all
what the world
great.
has for me.
So I got a question for you now. If someone wants to get a hold of you to speak, to learn about retreats, to do anything, how do they get a hold of you?
Probably the best place is my website, and it's just my name, mayanazareth.com, and there's a form there where it goes right to my email.
Really? Mm-hmm. And you're also on like Instagram and TikTok and all these other things?
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn.
Wow. And on Digging for Gold.
And on Digging for Gold.
Episode 50, Maya Nazareth. Maya, this has been great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Terrific. Really terrific. Alchemize, Maya Nazareth. Get in touch with her. She's a great speaker. She's got great ideas. If you're an entrepreneur and you need a little help, okay, don't forget that. And you can look up the product line too, right?
Yeah.
But you go to mayanazareth.com and
yeah, or alchemizefightwear.com.
Alchemizefightwear.com. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to Digging for Gold, or follow us on Spotify, TikTok, LinkedIn. Just go to dangoldberg.com and click on all those little icons. And remember this, use your mind. If you don't, others will. We'll see you next time on Digging for Gold. Thanks.